Hey y'all, my name is Marquise and I am here with Kineishma and I'm so excited to talk around like your plan to college, but also post-secondary opportunities as well and how you got there. And so can you take us to the beginning? Like where did you end up, particularly within the military? Because that was your specific path. Can you talk around that a little bit?
Yes. So
Yeah.
when I was in high school, a
Mm-hmm.
recruiter came to our school and he
Mm-hmm.
spoke about the military. He spoke about the Army National Guard, to
Mm-hmm.
be specific. I was sitting in the table with my sister and jokingly we signed up, but it was never like we wanted to do that.
Yeah.
My path, when I envisioned my future, I wanted to go to Westchester and
Yeah.
graduate with a business degree.
Okay.
So I filled out that paperwork and I ignored it. I never answered any calls or did anything as far as that recruiter. I ended up graduating from high school, going to Westchester,
Mm-hmm.
and began my business degree. But during that time, it was COVID. So I didn't get that traditional first year
Oh,
experience.
yes.
Yes,
Okay.
so it was very depressing as far as, we were on government shutdown,
Right.
classes were strange,
Mm-hmm.
everything was online, and I felt like I wanted an escape. And one thing about recruiters is that they're very persistent. So
Okay.
even though he came to my school junior year, 2 years later, he still reached out to me, that same recruiter. And he reached out to me. He was like, oh, like, it doesn't mean that talking to me means that you're going to do it.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'll have a conversation with you. One thing about me, I need to know everything. So
Yeah.
I had a million questions. I
Mm-hmm.
had 2 pages full of questions
Yeah.
when I went to go speak with him. And he told me that I was the first person to ever come with so many questions. After my conversation with him, he told me what did I want in my future. And I told him I wanted a degree. And he said joining the military does not mean that you can't still get a degree.
Okay.
And that is where it all began. I joined the Army National Guard.
Yeah. And I love that like you were able to really connect those two because even though he was like, yeah, you can join the military, but there's still a pathway to go to school. And I feel like so often people are like, "Oh, well, if I join the military, then I don't have to worry about a further degree or a new higher education, anything like that." But you were really focused in and saying like, "I'm gonna still be committed to what I got to get to." Okay? Because I know what my original plan was,
Yes.
but also on top of that, you were able to weigh out those options because he gave you the clarity of like, oh no, military also can lead to a degree. And so, was there any way that that made it even feel even more seamless going to get your degree once you enlisted?
Yeah, so my biggest concern was I got a full ride to Westchester,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, if I leave now, can I go back to school and still be able to afford it?
Yeah.
Because my biggest fear was being in debt because
Right.
of getting that degree.
Right.
And he told me that in the PA National Guard, they cover a 4 year college. So I could either choose to go back to Westchester and finish my degree
Mm-hmm.
there or choose another state school to
Yeah.
attend. So I just like that clarity. I like that opportunity that I can escape what the world is going through right now because of COVID and all that
Right.
stuff. Um, get to experience something I never even thought of
Yeah.
and then come back and still pursue that path that I
Yeah,
originally had.
which is cool because I even think around when you were saying like something you never thought of, and what that made me even want to know a little bit more about is how has the military and enlisting actually impacted who you were as a student and walking through that process?
The military shows you a lot of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
It opens your mind to so many new things. You learn more about yourself. You're able to grow physically,
Mm-hmm.
mentally, and emotionally.
Right.
When I was first enrolling in college, I knew that I was very determined to getting a degree.
Right.
But like everything in life, nothing goes as planned.
Right.
So once I started getting that degree, I realized that online learning just wasn't for me. I
Yeah.
like being in the class, seeing, like laughing with other
You need
students,
that social aspect. Yeah.
getting to know the teacher. And I really appreciated that break that I got.
Mm-hmm.
And being in the military, you get that diversity. I got
Yeah.
to meet different people from different pathways, hear their experiences,
Right.
whether they went, straight into work and then 20 years later they decided I don't want to do this,
Right.
let me join the military. People had crazy stories and it was just phenomenal, so I appreciated that. And then going back into college, I realized, okay, I could get into this. Like, I know I experienced this, now
Mm-hmm.
let's go back to the start.
Yeah. And by you going back to the start, what was that extra motivation? Because even then, you said you went in and you were doing human resources.
Yes.
Yeah. And so even then I was like, was that even part of your original trajectory either? Where you're like, do I want to do HR, but I know I want to do business? Like, what was that decision making like for you in that moment?
So it was very confusing to
Mhm.
me. When I was young, I knew I wanted to be a teacher.
Yeah.
I love teaching. I love being with
Mhm.
students. I enjoyed all of that.
Yeah.
I don't know why in high school I didn't think about becoming a teacher and I chose the business route. I don't know, it was strange to me. And in Westchester, it's not that I didn't enjoy the
Mhm.
business program, it's just, again, like needing that social
Right.
interaction. So when I left and I chose human resources in the military, I just decided, I was like, I don't want to choose the scary job.
Yeah.
And human resources just seemed like a safe route where
Yeah.
I still get to experience what a regular traditional soldier does,
Right.
but it's the safer route.
Right.
So I just
You behind the desk. Thank you.
yeah, thank you very much. So I went in as the human resources. Once I graduated from training,
Mhm.
I came back and I was like, okay, let me enroll back in college
Right.
and let me try being a teacher.
Right.
So I enrolled in CCP. I
Right.
started in a early education
Yeah.
program, but unfortunately, it just wasn't connecting for me.
Right.
It wasn't what I expected.
Right.
Being a teacher is very, very
You're
hard.
talking to a former teacher, so I get it. Yeah.
And I just realized if your heart is not 100% in it, then you can't provide those students with the correct
Right.
education. Coming from a public high school,
Mhm.
I would see that teachers seemed drained. They didn't
Yeah.
seem like completely in it. And those students that need that extra help coming
Yeah.
from a teacher that's not willing to give that because their heart is not 100% in it,
Right.
they fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be one of those teachers. And so I decided I needed to do something else.
Mhm.
And I enjoyed human resources in the military. I
Yeah.
really did. So I decided I want to pursue that in the civilian world. And that's when I got a liberal arts degree.
Yeah.
And now I'm in Penn State getting a human resource degree.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
no. And that's awesome because what is so important about your story is that you probably have one of the most roundabout journeys. You were like, here was one plan, and then it switched up due to unforeseen circumstances as a pandemic, right? And then from there, you were just like, oh, I'm also evolving as a person.
Yes.
I'm still going to complete this degree, but now I have another avenue that I never thought about. Business. Oh, maybe that. Teaching, maybe that. But I really liked HR, right? And so I love that you had such a roundabout experience in that way because it's also just a show that your journey is never going to be linear in the ways in which that you think. And so I think my last question for you then is also young students, juniors, seniors, like take yourself back to that high school space. What advice would you give them if they're thinking around pursuing the military as a potential route as a post-secondary option?
My advice to them would be very adaptable.
Mm-hmm.
Just like my story is how it was going through different paths, experiencing different things until I came to the point where I'm at now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that in the military.
Yeah.
You are expecting one thing, but it will never be like that. You have to learn how to interact with individuals that you might dislike.
Mm-hmm.
You have to learn that you're going to be put in environments where you feel uncomfortable, where you're not happy, where you're ready to come back home.
Mm-hmm.
At any moment, you can deploy. At any moment, you can be super far away from family and not have that opportunity to have your cellular device or social media to reach out to them. So being adaptable will be super beneficiary
Yeah.
in the military to get through those difficult times.
Right. No, that's awesome. I thank you for one sharing your story, that piece of advice, but I will harp on this of just like when you think you have a plan, there's a good runway and a foundation, but give yourself some space and time to like play on top of that a lot of the time. And so thank you for naming like this potential plan for some of the people who might be watching right now or might be interested in this. And so y'all, I ain't gonna lie. This is an awesome conversation.
Thank
This is
you.
Kineishma. My name is Marquise. Philly, what's your plan? Peace.